Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Riding in Cars with Books. I'm Jaclyn.
And I'm Phillip.
And today we are going to be discussing The Moth Keeper by Kay O'Neill.
Woohoo!
This book is beautiful, can't wait to talk about it. So, first of all, if you have not read a Kay O'Neill book ever in your life, you're missing out on the cutest little creatures and the most wholesome stories ever. I am a huge fan of their Tea Dragon series. You may have heard of it. You may have seen me talk about it before. The Tea Dragon Society, the Tea Dragon Festival, and the Tea Dragon Tapestry is a trilogy. And they also did Dewdrop and Aquicorn Cove, which are adorable little creatures, and Princess Ever After. Is that what it's called?
Sure.
Princess Ever After. It's a very short fairy tale, but it's adorable. I think that's it. I think that's all their books.
Anyway, now back to our regular scheduled program.
They're all amazing, I'm just saying, but this might be my most favorite one yet. Like, it's very good. Very good. What did you think?
Oh, no, this book is phenomenal.
Have you read all the other ones?
Yeah, I've read all of the Kay O'Neill books.
We own them all in multiple formats. I also own the pin set, the plushies, the board games.
An actual tapestry?
Oh, the tapestry. Yes. Well, it's a blanket.
Whatever.
It's beautiful. Anyways.
And none of those have anything to do with this book.
None.
Except for their Kay O'Neill.
I am fangirling this week. You had last week, okay? Just saying. Kay O'Neill's art is just so... It makes my heart very happy, and I want to share that love with the world. Okay?
Okay.
This is my thing.
All right. Take it away.
We were going to show off this really cool art print that you could get for free if you got one of these from our store, but we've sold out, so ignore that message. But, oh, and I just want to show you how beautiful this naked book is. It's naked. Okay, sorry. Done fangirling over here. On to the book. What's it about, you may ask? Well, it's about moth keepers.
Literal moth keepers.
Literal moth keepers. So, our main character is Anya. She is finally taking her job as moth keeper. She's kind of like an apprentice, or in her probationary period,
right,
you could call it, because sometimes she's not out there by herself. But their job is to protect the moths. They kind of lead them around with the lantern to make sure they get back to where they need to be safely.
Because this tribe, there's two tribes. There's the night tribe and the day tribe. And she's a part of the night tribe which basically they're moon moths, correct? And so what they do is they have to keep them together, because when it becomes like spring and it's time for things to grow, they help bring the pollen to the tree that helps grow their fruit and brings them a nice harvest.
Yes. So they're very important to society. And this tribe is only awake at night. And then the day tribe, they go into the day tribe a little bit. Anya kind of has some trouble with, like, should I be part of the night tribe, or is the day tribe better? It's that kind of like, the grass is always greener on the other side thing. Like, you always want what you don't have.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to look at, and people like to use the word trope now, I guess the trope for this is a coming of age story.
It is a very much coming of age story.
Because like there's the way this village is, or the night tribe, is they have one individual, like in every generation there's a slayer. Wrong thing. And there's a moth keeper. So it's really up to this one individual to keep these moths together and alive for their tribe.
It's a lot of responsibility for one person. And spoiler alert, I think maybe by the end they finally realized, like, as a society we should do more to help, but I'm jumping ahead here.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great responsibility, and Anya's kind of always wanted to do this. Like, not everyone, it's kind of like a volunteer thing, right? But not everyone is cut out for it. And I guess if you have the personality of like, you're good by yourself, or, you know, you don't.
Or you feel like you should be alone. So,
Yeah.
so she's a character who feels like that she's better alone and she should only be alone, and anything that she can or do, like she just doesn't know how to handle that because she was abandoned.
Yes.
So she was also abandoned. So she has the, well, no one really wants me type of mentality.
So it's one of those jobs where you do better if you are good alone, because you're literally leaving your family, your friends, every single day. When they're awake, you are
gone.
You're gone.
Right. And so by the time you get back, everyone's asleep, and then you kind of go to bed to get ready for the next day.
And there was also a lot of pressure on her to prove that she could do it. She kind of put that pressure on herself, I think, feeling like I'm worthy of this job. And as a young person, I feel like in general we just put a lot of pressure on ourselves, not necessarily the society, but I think in this case the society does put a lot of pressure on these moth keepers because they literally keep the village functioning.
Right.
And the question that she starts going through, she's like, is it worth it every single night? Like, is this job worth everything else in my life? And she kind of has this one day excursion where she
goes to the day drive.
She stays awake instead of going to sleep, essentially. And she kind of has to like go down the mountain or whatever.
Right.
But she kind of sees what they do and how different their life is. And I think in the process, she also kind of hurts her friends. So it's like a learning process. Her friend Estelle is really, really cute too.
Yeah.
She's kind of like the one with the herbal remedies, and if you've read Tea Dragon, you've got those. Kay O'Neill loves the little remedies and stuff, I think. So Estelle is that person in this book.
Yep. And then, it's like I said, it is a coming of age story, but it's also about taking responsibilities for what you're supposed to do and if you promise something, right? But it's also about that, hey, maybe other people are putting too much pressure on one person to take care of everyone instead of stepping in and helping when possible, because other people can do it. It's just they don't want to give up any of their time or their life, right?
So the person that she's taking over for has a partner, and their relationship is kind of strained because of their job, and that was handled very well in the story. You see those dynamics
because he wants to retire from Mothkeeper to kind of be more with his family.
Yeah.
And so that makes that a little.
And also, I think
tighter.
Anya realized that she really wasn't alone. She did have a friend in Estelle, and then some people were willing to help her. Like, he was willing to give her a night off every now and then. She was burning herself out. It was just a lot, but it was a very beautiful analogy too.
And it goes into a lot of like certain lore of like the moon moths and what the moon has meant to this tribe and how it actually has saved them during time. So there's a lot of.
That's how the book opens.
Show them that page.
Which one? The beautiful landscapes. The book opens with them telling the story of the moths and the moon spirit.
Right.
Once, thousands and thousands of moon cycles ago. So it kind of goes into the moon spirit and how it came to be, and how the people decided to save their society. They needed to have a night village and a day village, and basically this group of people did what they needed to do to save their village. And I don't understand why during all that time, the day village and the night village couldn't work together instead of splitting. And that's kind of an analogy for our current climate.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, there's pieces in it too, right? When you go to the two different villages, you have the, like Anya's really curious about the day village. And she's like, ooh, it's the day village. You can do things in daytime. You can see the sun. It's not always dark. And so she goes and visits, but then it's kind of the same over there, right? She runs into people who's like, oh, well, you get to go out at night when it's cool and not.
You see the stars.
You see the stars, and you can see, you know, so it's kind of
the grass is always greener on the other side.
Right. So it's each side kind of wants a little bit of what the other side have, and it's a part of figuring that out too, right? It's
like, and she gets like sunburn, right? Like you're not used to being out in the sun, you don't realize how powerful the sun is.
So there's a lot that goes on in this one small graphic novel.
There's a lot of depth to the story.
Yeah, it's like we've given some spoilers, but this story is very, very deep versus what we've kind of given it. But the art is fantastic in it, and
yes,
I love the art and the art style. So Kay O'Neill is very colorful. So if you've seen the Tea Dragon stuff, it is very colorful. And here she's able to do a very colorful book, but at nighttime.
Yeah,
which is very interesting.
The palettes change, obviously, night versus day, and it's just beautiful. I love it so much. But if you like themes of like community and coming together for the greater good and just wholesome, feel good stories,
yes, there's a lot that goes on, but it is not it ends in a very good note and in a very good place.
Yes. It covers.
I don't do with very depressing stuff. So.
Yeah, and it covers some depressing themes, but in a very, very careful way.
Right.
It's handled with care, as it should be.
Correct.
And it's just the most beautiful book. I think when I first wrote my review, as soon as I closed the book, I said, this is the most beautiful book I've ever read. And I think this will be my favorite book of the year just because it's so beautiful and I already love it so much.
Show them another piece of art just so they can see, like.
Oh, and you have this little fairy. This person, that story arc was very interesting. But I don't want to go into spoiling that because that was a big aha moment in the story where she's like chasing the little fairy. But
the moth.
Yeah.
She was chasing the moon moth. Yes.
That goes back to like the lore and
it gets more into the lore and
the
what
stories
happened.
that the people have been telling for years, right?
Right. Yes. It goes back into those tribal lores.
And it kind of also tied back to her abandonment from her mother, and she was like, "Is this going to give me answers?" That's how I was reading it, anyway.
That's how. So basically, Anya was abandoned by her mother because basically she couldn't take care of her. Is really what it comes down to. She couldn't take care of her, and so this village ended up basically taking her in and bringing her in, and
I think that's why she felt like she had to prove that she could stay in
the village. Correct.
She earning her keep.
Right.
Basically.
She wanted to earn her keep because she wasn't really originally a part of this village.
Yeah.
So she put like Jaclyn said earlier, she put a lot of pressure on herself.
So again, highly recommend this book to everyone. I don't care how old you are, how grumpy you are, you can still enjoy it. It's aimed for like a middle grade audience, but I think there's themes that everyone can enjoy. And if you have any appreciation for good art whatsoever, just pick up this book and give it a try.
I mean,
and let me know what you think, because I will talk about it some more.
Right, and if you're older, some of these themes will hit harder than if you're just a middle grade.
For sure.
Right?
That's the beauty of middle grade books. I enjoy them more now as an adult because they just hit in the right spots.
Yeah, like these themes hit. These themes are going to hit with a middle grade, but if you're older, like these themes will hit harder because you're going to see what a lot of these like kids go through today, or even what you may have gone through, or even as an older adult what you're going through today.
The stories you didn't have when you were a kid.
Like these things still happen, right? You still have, do I belong? Do I, it's kind of like the imposter syndrome that everyone talks about now as adults.
Yes.
Like this is middle grade, but she goes through this just like that happened. So there's a hit there. So when people sometimes want to dismiss, oh, well, that's just a middle grade book or whatever, it's
I'm not handling.
Yeah, you need to read these books because they are not just middle grade books. They are also written there for adults. So sorry, that's kind of soapboxy, but
no, for real.
But it is real. Especially this book. This book will hit home for adults in multiple ways. That is just really, really wonderful.
So, if any of what we said sounds interesting to you, as it should, check out this book and let us know what you think. And for more book reviews, give us a like, comment what you want to see, subscribe if you haven't already.
Yep, we like that little thumbs up.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.